What's up, everybody? This is Ryan Dunstan, Community Engagement Specialist for Benchmark Mortgage. I have here with me Mr. Peter Hurst with Enact Mortgage Insurance Company, and he's going to talk to us about some things that he's doing to close the wealth gap in our country regarding home ownership. So I guess, Peter, what things do you guys, or what kind of programs do you guys have in place now that's kind of making an impact as far as the wealth gap is concerned?
Sure. No, great question, Ryan, and thank you for sitting down.
Sure.
Appreciate the invite. So, one of the biggest challenges in the home buying process is this myth of, do I need 20% down? And when for us that are in the business, we know that's not true, but there's a lot of people out there that think that is what they need. And when you think about how hard it is to save any money, let alone 20%, when last year the median price of a home in America was $392,000, but the median income was only $72,000. Well, you do the numbers, it would take 47 years to save up 20% down payment, which is, no one's going to become a homeowner if that's the case. Yeah. So the main mission of MI, and that's what Enact is as a company, is to help accelerate that process by reducing the need to save that 20%. So with conventional financing, Fannie Freddie, you can go 3% down, and mortgage insurance makes that possible. So rather than save for 40 odd years to get that 20% down payment, you can get in as soon as you have that 3%, and some of that 3% can come from gifts and settlement down payment and all other kinds of things that I'm sure you can coach your team on. So what Enact does is really make that happen, and by making that happen, it creates a whole new opportunity for people to become homeowners. In the last 5 years, we helped more than 1.9 million families become homeowners. And as important as getting them in the house, whether it's COVID or any other economic hardship, in that same period, we reached out to over 59,000 borrowers and kept 90,000 people in their homes when a moment of financial stress happens.
That is amazing.
Help people get in there, and we want to keep them there.
Yeah. Are you guys partnering with any local organizations as far as, I know that you all have a branch in Baltimore, DMV area. You have a few of them in the DMV area. But who are you guys partnering with to kind of get some of this work done on the ground level?
Yeah, great question. So the company's based in Raleigh, North Carolina, but we have a whole national sales team that's distributed throughout the country, and each one of those people is really an expert in their market. So whether you're in Virginia, DC, Maryland, home for me, we've got 2 great reps that cover that, and they know all of the specific programs. So they'll work closely with Maryland State Agency Housing and the Maryland Mortgage Program, which is very specific. But we have connections all across the country, Texas, Florida, Georgia, you name it. And each one of our reps is really a subject matter expert to the communities in the neighborhoods that they serve, and know the specifics about the programs that work really hand in glove with what we do at Enact Mortgage Insurance.
Yeah, that's awesome. As a matter, 1.9 million, that is a huge number. I feel like that's so amazing because the narrative here is no one's working on this wealth gap, and that's just simply not true. And one of the reasons why we're doing these interviews is to shed light on the companies that are absolutely working on that thing, right? And to actually show real life people in their day-to-day, wherever they may log on to whatever app that they may log on, that there are people fighting on your behalf. Talk to me about your heart on this one, because you can't help 1.9 million people if you're not broken down, beaten, have a heart for it, the leadership gets heavy. Just tell me about your heart posture a little bit here in regard to helping 1.9 million families.
Yeah, it's the home ownership gap in America for me, especially as a white male, is so disappointing because the gap is actually greater today than it was in the 50s and 60s when redlining was legal. So when I think about all the positive change that's happened in our world and how much forward progress there's been, it's a pretty sobering statistic when I can look at something very close and realize how much progress have we really made. So it's something I have a personal passion to change. Because if none of us make the effort, then change will never happen.
Absolutely.
So that's what got me in the mortgage business over 25 years ago, and I've had the privilege of wearing many different hats for many different companies, but it all revolves around that passion for helping people get in a house, stay in the house. And Enact has been a great place for me, and it's a wonderful company, previously known as Genworth, and before that GE with mortgage insurance, because it's very much our mission. So, our mission, if you walk in our company's office in Raleigh, is, we want to work with our lender partners to help people realize the dream of home ownership. And that's creating generational wealth.
Absolutely.
And, I've had the privilege of always living in a house with my parents. I never had to worry about, where I was going to sleep, what meal I was going to have. And not everyone has that privilege.
Yeah.
And being aware of that and helping people make the generational leap from being a renter to a homeowner not just changes that person, that's family's life, but it changes the next generation and the generation after that, because they'll be born into something never knowing what that prior generation came from. So yeah, you got to love what you do, because if you're not passionate about it, it's just going through the motions, and life's too short for that.
Absolutely. You can't help 1.9 million people get into a home and actually change the financial trajectory of their financial futures without having a heart for humanity, as well as having a heart for minority communities. Listen, I really want to thank you for your work, because you can't get that kind of work done without truly caring. Last question.
Yes.
How does mortgage insurance directly impact someone's wealth?
Absolutely. So, we talked about how you don't have to save up that money to get in the door. So imagine if you had to save that 40 years. Just think about in our lifetime, if we bought a house and how much that's appreciated just in the 10 or 20 years we may have owned it. But you'd miss out on that opportunity, and that house not just becomes an asset that, is worth something, but you raise your family in it. It creates your home.
Yes.
It's the core of what we do as people,
Yep.
affecting change in the world. So, mortgage insurance helps make that possible, because it gets you there quicker. So there are lots of myths out there, and you'll hear lots of people that say, well, PMI is a bad thing, private mortgage insurance. I would say, listen, would you rather wait 40 years to get in that door and change your life, your family's life, your kid's life, or would you rather pay $100 a month to make it possible next year or the year after that? That's the way we should think about PMI, as a stopgap measure, if you will, to get in that house sooner and change your life.
Yeah, tap in. This is Mr. Peter Hurst from Enact Mortgage Insurance Company. Tell folks how they can get in contact with your firm.
Yeah, absolutely. So check us out on the web, Enact, ENACTMI.com. You can always reach out to myself, Peter Hurst, peter.hurst, HURST, at enactmi.com. Publicly traded on NASDAQ, ticker is ACT. Lots of good information. Would love to talk to you and learn how we can help you solve your challenges with getting people in a home to become a homeowner.
Thanks, Peter, for joining me.
Yeah, man, thanks for talking to me.
Appreciate it.